We will discuss today what is service worker and how you're gonna implement that in JavaScript. Hi everyone, this is Subrat and you are watching Fun of Heuristics. So on this channel, you will get to know about the programming languages, the framework and all about the algorithm. So please consider subscribing and hit the bell icon if you haven't yet. First, we will discuss about what is a service worker and what is the use of that. So service worker basically is a proxy between your server and your client. So if I try to draw it, then suppose it's your machine and from this machine you are hitting to the server, and suppose server is the cloud. Okay, uh, please forgive me for the drawing. So this is the normal way without a service worker. Now if you introduce a service worker, then what will happen is your request will route through a service worker. So I will just name that as a SW and it will go here. But then you will ask me, okay Subrat, what's the benefit? You are increasing a step between our server or our cloud to the client. As you know, JavaScript is a single threaded application. So the browser, the rendering thread, that is the main thread, in that your whole JavaScript code will run as a single threaded and it will handle by the asynchronous operation and by using the event loop. But here the benefit is the service worker is a subclass of a worker. So if you don't know about worker, so don't worry, we're going to cover it in the later videos. So the worker is a separate thread which will be a separate thread from the main thread. That means your rendering or all your web related JavaScript will run in a separate thread and the service worker will run in the separate thread. So think like it will run in the background of your application. So even if your application is running or not, it will be accessible. So here one more benefit is, suppose you are calling the server and you are getting a response from the service worker to your system or to your device. So here you can intercept or change or manipulate the result how you want. Suppose like you know that in the lazy loading case, suppose you know that you have some data which needs to be lazy loaded to your main thread, but that you can fetch and can store in your service worker, and when you need you can ask the service worker to give it to you, so that when the user will click, it will not hit the server, it will just fetch from the worker and you can store certain amount of data. So one more and the biggest benefit of a service worker will be just you can check here also, like we are calling this our server, that is this one, through the service worker. Okay, so I told you that for the lazy loading you can store the data in the service worker. That means once you store the data and after that suppose you remove the connection between the server and a service worker, but your device and the service worker still has a connection. So by the use of the service worker, your application will also work when you don't have the internet connection. Obviously it's for static data, but if you are making some get call or some API calls, then it will fetch the previous result, not the updated result, because it's not connected with the server, but the application will still be active, the user will not face any problem. So that this is the one and the biggest benefit according to me. And apart from that, our normal UI layout and normal UI design will not change that much, that frequently. I'm not talking about the service call, get call and all, but this like the HTML files or the JavaScript file will not change that much. So that you can cache here. The others file you can go and take from the server, and a lot of things you can do here. You can just ask the service worker, okay, wait for 10 seconds. If within the 10 second I am not getting the files, then fetch from the cache. Those all things is possible. So, and as I mentioned the cache, so the service worker will store the data in a cache. So you can say like I'm just drawing it like a database, but this is a cache. And we have still more benefits, like the service worker the people are using. So it's get used by Instagram, it's gets used by a lot of applications. So that means you can make a PWA application, that is progressive web app application, with the help of the service worker. So what it will do, again, as I just explained you, that service worker will use the cache and it will store all your data at the cache, and that the PWA, that is progressive web app, And in the next video, we are going to see the service worker in Angular and how we're gonna develop a PW application. You see all the things what is possible in Angular, like how the time management, cache strategy. So please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you will not miss that video in the future. And it's coming as a next video also. So you will ask me, okay, so but you always make Angular video, so why you are making a normal JavaScript video? And in after some time we'll see the implementation in JavaScript. The reason is, when I started using Angular Service Worker, it's pretty easy. It's just a command and you got everything, you got very optimized way. But when you start optimizing the things, when you start doing to your own way, some particular use case, there you need to know the how the service worker actually work, what is the life cycle of service worker. That's the reason I'm making this video, because I faced that problem. So if you don't know about progressive web app, so the progressive web app in a short form, I can say it seems like it's a native app, and it will also add it to your home screen or to your app page, and a lot of things will work similar, and you will not face that much difference. And with the help of service worker, you can send the push notification and the background sync also. So the push notification, that you know that the notification will come to you like a YouTube notification. If you press the bell icon, then whenever I will put a video on YouTube, you will get notified. So that is called a push notification, because you are not opening the application, but still you are getting a notification so that you can watch the video. That can also be done by a PWA. PWA means by use of a service worker. So you may have seen it in a lot of websites nowadays that they will ask you permission for the notification. So if you allow them, then you will get a notification on the right side or on the top, depending on the OS. So you can send the push notification, and you can do the background sync also. The background sync is, suppose you have a kind of a thing like a Facebook, and you have a like option in the post, and when the user will post that like or do some comment, at that time the user doesn't have the internet connection, and after some time, okay, after 1 hour or 2 hour, then user got the interconnection back. Then at that time, what you can do is, if you do use the background sync, you can at that time you can call the server and update your database, so that when the user will come again, they will not face an issue that, okay, I have given a comment but that's not there. So the service worker is a pretty useful thing, and if you use it wisely, the user experience can be leveled up by 10x or 20x, so that they will not face any problem while using the application. And you have a lot of static data, then you don't, and you know that it's not going to change that much, that frequently, then it's better to cache it. And if it's changing also, there is a way I'm gonna show you. So it will fetch from the server and it will update the cache also. So now we'll go to implementation, and we'll see how you're gonna implement service worker in plain JavaScript. So I have created a folder that is service worker. So we'll create the index.html. Then you'll see you have the HTML file, and I will just go inside this, and we'll just create HTML5. Before implementing the service worker, I just want to explain you about the life cycle of the service worker. You can find a pretty good article from the Google developers that is about service worker as an introduction, and here you can see the life cycle. So normally the service worker will have three stages. So first is the registration, which will be done by our application, and that I will show you now. And after that, your service worker will be get installed in the browser, then it will be activated, then it will be stay idle, like it will just check for, okay, request is coming or not, then it will go for the fetch or message, it terminated, and the error. That all the life cycle have. But if you want a depth understanding, just go through the document, and I'm also going to explain by reading this document. So I will just give the link in the description. As I told you, it has three main stages, like a registration, activation, and installation. So for that, what we'll do is we'll add a script tag, and in the script tab we will check that okay, the browser is supporting service worker or not. I think only IE and Opera Mini is not supporting service worker currently, but I have to check, I'm not updated. So when I read before, those two browser haven't supported, like the Internet Explorer, not the Edge, Internet Explorer and the Opera Mini. So we'll just check if service worker is there, means service worker is there in navigator. So if it's there, then we'll create a event listener that is on load, and we'll call the service worker to register our services. So now we'll just use this navigator. It's navigator dot service worker dot register, and here you will give the name of the file, which will be like the your code, service worker code, that will be registered through your navigator. So we don't have file yet, so I will create one file and I will just name that as a service worker. We will just give the name here as a service worker.js. It will return a promise, so we can use dot then. I just take this to the next line and we can log something. So here I'm just logging the current scope that will be get logged in the console. And one more thing I forgot to tell you, that due to the security reasons, service worker will only work on a SSL certified server, means which have HTTPS. But for the local, it will work on HTTP as well. But if you are hosting through a GitHub page or through the any server which has SSL certificate, then it will work as it is. So I will just go to the HTTP server. So for this you can install a npm package called HTTP server, and with that you can give a port number. I will give as a 8080 and it will run. Now we'll go to the browser. So now if I will open this console, and if you go to the application tab, then here you can see a service worker, and you can see that everything is fine. We got the service worker is working, and if you check in the cache storage, we haven't have any cache yet because we haven't provided any configuration what to cache and what not to. But as I told you here, that if you implement service worker, your application will going to work offline. But and by the way, with the use of this application tab and service worker, you can simulate the offline mode. That means if you click on offline, then your app, your browser will be disconnected from the server. So server in our case is our local server. So if I hit the refresh, it will say no internet connection, because I have just clicked as offline, but the service worker is registered. That's why it's showing us okay, it's registered, and it's showing us the file also. If you click on the file, you will not see any code because we haven't implemented that yet. As I told you previously also, the service worker has three states: the registration, installation and activation. The registration, what we did it here, we register the service worker through the navigator and pass our file that we will going to do in the service worker. So now the second phase is called installation. So for the installation, what we'll do, we just call self. Self means as we register the service worker, so it will now act inside it. Now we'll create a listener, event listener, and in that we'll pass the install event, and it pass that event, and we just call a fat arrow method, and in that we'll just try to log it. So what you can do here is, so you can cache your file in the install. So install means after you register the file, so what the service worker will do, it will go to the server to call the server and cache all the file and store in the cache. That we're going to see now. Cache the files on the install of the worker. We can do like this till the event has some cache, and you will open the cache by giving a cache name. The cache name here you can give as cache v1, and from that, and it will return a promise. When the promise will resolve, you will add all your cache to the file. So this is a array of file. Either you can do like this, or you can give a we have only one directory here, so I just give an as a slash. You can give suppose you have a css file, so you can give dot slash css, then css, then star slash, or you can give something like this, and that will going to add all everything to the cache. But as you have only one, either you can give it directly or you can give it like this. Everything is fine. After adding all, you can just ask for keep waiting, so it will not wait further. Okay, so now we'll go to the browser and I will check that we got the cache or not. So I will refresh it sometime and we are not getting the cache. Okay, so here, okay, I think the install, I just misspell it. So when I'll save, just restart the server again. Now if I go to the browser and I'll just hit refresh, and you can see here we got the cache storage, and you can check we have the cache files here, that is our HTML file. Now you can say okay, you got the cache. Now if you go to the application and you'll just hit offline, it will work. No, it will not, because now we just say to the service worker that we are going to store it, but we haven't told yet that we need that on the response. Okay, because if you remember, we still have some life cycle present. Life cycle present means life cycle need to be there. As we have covered the registration and the installation, now we'll see how to activate our service worker. So for that I have added a cache name, so you will see why I did that. So the activation means, okay, once you install, you added your cache. Now what you're going to do is, you in the activation, when your service worker is activated and it's ready to use, at that time you should delete the older cache. If you have something like you want your application is updated, now you want to update your cache for in the client machine, you don't want that the older cache should be stayed there in the machine. So it's good to be deleted, because we have some limited space given by the browser. And for the activation, we again need a add event listener, and that will do it like this for the activation. And the process is kind of the same. Again, you will just do for event until, and here as I told you, we're going to delete the cache or clear the cache. The caches.key will return as a promise, and we are calling the dot then, and inside that we are iterating through the all the caches names we have, and we're checking here if the cache name is similar to our cache name. If it's not similar to our cache name, then we are deleting that, because we don't need it the previous cache. Suppose you need a multiple caches, like 2 or 3 caches, then you can do according to that array.index of the which is described in the documentation, means in the article. And once you delete it, it will be deleted from the application. So to show you, what I will do is I will just change this to suppose v10, and when I will go save, and before that we'll go here and we'll just check cache b1 is present. I will just restart the server. When we'll go to the application, I'll just hit the refresh some multiple time, and you can see here for a fraction of second we got the v10 cache, and again that got removed. When our service worker is activated, it got deleted. Now we'll check that will it work on the offline mode or not, but you'll see it will not. And here we have some event and we have some functional event. The event are like, if, as we discussed here, we have install, activate, and the message. And the functional events are like fetch, push, and sync. Push and sync also you can see it here. That will not cover in this video. That the push notification and all will directly cover in the Angular service worker or Angular PWA. But you can do it here also, it's pretty easy. So now what we'll do is we'll go to the next phase, and that is fetch. So fetch, so whenever you hit an endpoint or whenever you hit a static file, so in this case we are hitting localhost 8080, and that insert hitting our index.html, because we have only one file here. And so in this case our request file is index.html, and that will be accessible through the fetch event listener. So to fetch, we'll just add a listener like what we are doing as doing it in the previous step also. But here you can see previously we have wait until, like as it's a normal process, so it will just, as it is now here, it will work on every request. So what it will do is it will respond with and we'll check, okay, whichever cache we have, and if we have some cache, then we'll respond through them. And what you are doing here is if cache dot match and the request what you are getting, the request means in this case for the HTML file we have for that, and if that matches, then return the response. Now we'll go to the browser and try to refresh it sometime. So why I'm reloading in multiple time is because in the first time it will go and update the service worker, then in the second time we'll got the result back. So now I'll just check the offline and I'll just hit refresh. Now we are getting, because as I told you, in every request it will try to fetch, go here and we just check the request is present, and we already have the data in the cache, so it will return according to that. So here what we'll do, okay, we'll go ahead and change some file here, fun of heuristic, and we'll add some exclamation mark just for sake of adding some value, and I will restart the application again. Now if I will go to the browser and I will just try to multiple time, and I will close the tab, I open the tab again, but you can see here we are not getting the updated result. But if you just do a like empty cache and reload, then we'll see you got the value. But if I try to refresh it again, it will go back to the cache because it's getting from the service worker. So to fix that, what you can do is, instead of storing your cache in the install, you can store the cache in the fetch. And if you are getting some updated cache, then you just update the cache and give it back to the browser thread. So what I will do is I will just comment this code here and we'll go to the fetch. I've also written that, so I'll not waste the time by writing it again. So we'll just comment this also and I will just paste it here. So in this event, what we are doing is, if you remember in the previous event, we called the fetch event with the event.request to return the value. But here what we need to store the request. Request means whatever coming from the browser. So in this case, whenever you're hitting a request, now the request is to get the index.html. So this is what the event.request, and what you're doing is, as this is the get call, so fetch normal will make a get call if you're not passing any methods, so and it will return a promise, and that in turn return a response. So this fetch is calling to the server. Server here means our index.html inside our localhost 8080 port. So in the live scenario, it will be to the server where you have hosted your file. So it will call to that server and you get a response back from the server. And that's what you need to cache in your cache file. So what we are doing here is we are cloning that response what we got from the server as a cache response, and here again we are cache open, that what we did in the install process. We are opening the cache with the cache name and we are storing the cache, and same again we'll do it here. We'll open the cache with the cache name, then and it will return a promise, and when it got resolved, we'll just put our new value. New value means the request what we are asking for. We are asking for the index.html or some CSS, and our cache response. So in this case, the cache response is what we got from the server, not from the service worker, and that will put the cache, and then we will return the response to the browser. And this block will run when you have internet connection, like in an online scenario. Suppose you don't have internet connection, like the offline scenario we have stimulated here. In that case, this fetch call will going to fail because it can't hit the server. Then it will come to the cache, and in the cache, what we are doing is we are matching our cache with the request. And if you see here, in when we have connection, we have put our cache with the cache response we have, means the response from the server. And what we are doing is, we in the error case, in the catch, means when the promise is rejected, and in this case when you don't have the internet connection, then you will go and fetch that cache, and you will return to the server, return to the browser through the service worker. So that's what now we're doing here. So now when we'll go to the browser, and we'll try to open this one also, and when we'll try to refresh the browser, and if you are facing a problem like refreshing, what you will do, just open a new tab and just open the host again, and it will solve your problem. And you say, okay, if that problem happen, how the user will going to load, and that we're going to discuss all these things, all the problem, whatever is in your mind, in the Angular service worker. And that we got the updated file. So I will go ahead and change something here. So I will add some more exclamation mark, and I will restart the server again. So when I will go back to the file, when I just hit refresh, you see you got the updated file with some 2-time refresh. As I told you in the first call, it will try to update this worker, and after that you will get the data from the worker, means service worker. I just forgot to show you through a offline mode, and now it will work in offline also. And this is what a service worker is, and what this is all the benefits. I know you have some questions in your mind, and this all will be clear in the next video, that is about with the service worker in Angular with using a PWA, and we're going to see a lot of things there. So please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you will not miss that video. And please like the video if you're liking the video till now. And if you're liking my work and you want to support me, you can support me in the Patreon. I will give the link in the description below. And please share this video among your friends, family, colleague. And this is a very useful thing, and we all should use this, and we all should know the life cycle of a service worker. And we're going to see the service worker in Angular in the next video. Till that, stay happy. Bye bye.